Hi Valkyries, welcome back to our channel. I'm Lindsay.
And I'm Sophia. Welcome to the House of Wind and Book Club.
This is the Valkyrie Reading Room. On Monday, we started chapters 11 through 20 of A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. And this week we are discussing those chapters. But first, we want to go ahead and mention what we are sipping on for this week's podcast.
Today we're sipping on Harney & Sons pomegranate oolong tea, and both me and Lindsay like ours sweet. So I added honey and sugar. She just did sugar.
My crackhead sugar.
Yes.
3 or 4 spoons.
Yeah, I did like 2 spoons of sugar and a little bit of honey.
And this is I told her she had to wait until we started, so this is actually our first sip.
Exactly. So. I smelt it. It smells good.
Pretty good other than it being hot.
Mine's not. I think because I have a draft right on my top of my tea, it's cold.
Yeah, no, I just sipped out of my water cup, so I'm like cold, and then it's like hot.
Oh my god, this is really good actually.
I'm glad I put sugar in it because it would have just tasted like dirt to me. But the pomegranate's nice. It's nice and subtle.
It's subtle, and I like the fact that the oolong tea is less acidic than black tea, so it's less sharp on the tongue, which is why I like it.
Yeah.
But, all right then.
Shall we get started?
Absolutely.
Chapters 11, here we go. Feyre prepares for travel with layers of tunic, a cloak, and a knife in her boot. She is able to climb down the garden trellis to meet her, quote, father. As she follows her father through the garden, she notes how swift her father is. Just before she walks out of the gate, Tamlin catches her. Feyre fears for her and her father's life as she was caught trying to escape, but Tamlin encourages her to take another look at her father again. But now she realizes, sorry, there's quotes in between father, but now realizes it's a bow and ash arrows in front of her. The thing proceeds to shift to a pack of supplies, her sisters, and then her father again. Tamlin warns Feyre not to trust her senses, which is what is currently in front of them is a fey creature called the Puka. As Tamlin tries to confront Feyre about escaping, Feyre states that she wants to go home so she can keep her vow to her mother. Tamlin again reassures that her family is cared for and the vow is fulfilled by staying in Prythian. Tamlin tells her that he was trained as a warrior and not supposed to be in the lord position he is in. Feyre finally settles into this being her new home, even with all the dangers it poses. Feyre begins to spend her day patrolling with Lucien as Tamlin hunts the bog at night. Feyre begins having nightmares about killing Andreas.
That one was so, it was trippy to listen to.
Mm-hmm.
When you were going back and forth of, is it her father? Is it not her father? Because it doesn't have an audio attached to him, as the character, as the Puka. There was no voice coming out. But just that idea, it's so strange. And once she, got over the incredulous, kind of feeling of, oh my god, he's here, she realizes he's definitely cannot be here with that knee, that injury that he has. Her sisters are definitely not anywhere near this area. They couldn't even stand freaking socializing with the normal people, you know?
Yeah, I just thought it was funny because she even mentions that's kind of weird that he's walking kind of fast. That's not a red flag to you,
right? But she's just so hopeful right now. She just wants to go home.
Yeah, and so yeah, I love that Tamlin caught her and he's like, "Are you sure about that?"
Right.
That I can't sip a tea with my thumb in front of it.
I don't know. I think it's interesting. Also, side quest there a little further down when we were talking about how she starts going on patrol with Lucien.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's so interesting because he's the one that seems to be aggressive of the two of them, verbally at least. But he's the one that she's seeking out.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's so interesting because it seems that she respects the honesty of his emotions so much more than I don't know what's going on with Tamlin, so I'm not going to go anywhere near him.
Tamlin's being fishy, so I'm going to stick with the guy who's just being mean with me.
Exactly, because I can expect mean, I can deal with mean. Freaking Nesta, she grew up with Nesta, and she was freaking mean.
Mm-hmm.
All of her insecurities, where do they come from?
insignificant human.
Freaking beastly girl. Freaking Nessa built all that into her. She's freaking anything Lucian says is really not going to do much.
Yeah, she has a wall of steel already.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I really don't have much to say about chapter 11 just because
it's kind of a filler a little bit. It
yeah.
kind of just helps move along, like kind of bringing in the idea that
it's kind of, sorry, I don't mean to jump in there.
No, you're good.
But it shows that what Alice said, like, don't trust your senses.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's like, now Feyre knows she can't trust her senses.
Don't trust your senses, but it's also that fact that don't trust your senses, but Tamlin still stepped in.
Mm-hmm.
It shows that
he's starting to care for her.
I think he's always kind of cared for her, but it's much more, he's paying more attention to her. Yeah. Like, he's paying more attention to not just, like, what she's done, but who she is.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why he keeps, like, reassuring her that you don't have to go back, okay? We have it, man. Like, we got your family. They're covered, but she won't believe it.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing at Sophia because she's in a chair. I'm sitting on her bed. She's sitting in her own chair, and she is talking with the crap out of her hands right now.
I'm using my bed as a desk to display the hands. Anyway, what was at the end of all this? What's the question?
Oh, the question. Question.
What are we contemplating with this one?
So, the question I came up with was, what do you think the puka would? I'm so tired. What do you think the puka would show you to lure you out into the night?
Do we want a real answer or do we want a funny answer?
I think both.
Real answer? Either my brother or my dad. Mm-hmm. Truly, and you know which brother. Mm-hmm. And my dad. One or the other. If I thought they were in trouble, I'd immediately be outside. Funny answer? Hot Cheetos.
Why? You say hot Cheetos, but the funny answer for me would be ramen.
Absolutely, but
because you eat a lot of ramen. She's a ramen girl.
Spicy. Anything spicy. Anything spicy.
In other words, a gigantic pepper.
You know what? I got so many of them.
You have mini ones in the backyard.
I do. I was wrong about what type they were.
Oh. But anyway, in my regards, it would be my husband or my dog. My dog is like my baby. Funny answer would probably be a nice vanilla latte.
Yeah, I was thinking of Starbucks.
Yeah, that, or let's see, what kind of, maybe a peanut butter Uncrustable. Because I eat those every single day.
Goldfish. I see you with goldfish so much too. If there was a trail of goldfish leading you somewhere, I feel like you'd follow it.
Is that what my breadcrumbs would be? That or I think both of our answers could also be books.
Truly.
Trail books.
Truly. Or even just like a Dropbox of find out.
It's the Scooby-Doo answer of call this number. God, your hamburgers.
Feyre begins to make a map of Tamlin's estate. She can't read or write, but can draw a map using rough sketches and X's to mark locations. Tamlin comes back. He has killed the bog, but he's hurt. Feyre helps patch him up in the infirmary, fixing up his hand, and during this time, he learns that she cannot read or write, but is capable in her hunting ability, and is confused and intrigued because it is not of the average human having these differing skill sets. She then overhears Tamlin and Lucian fighting later on. She isn't sure what they're arguing about other than something about the worsening blight. But Lucian accuses Tamlin of not even trying whatever is happening. He also says to Tamlin that for someone with a heart of stone, yours is certainly soft these days. Tamlin responds that he can't stomach it after his father and his brother used to do it to humans. Feyre gets caught eavesdropping and inquires if Lucian will patrol, but is rebuffed. Then Tamlin comes to talk to Feyre. He asks her if anyone has ever taken care of her, and she says no. Tamlin reveals that he knows she took a knife at dinner to deflect. Feyre inquires about the creatures and if they should expect more like the bog, and Tamlin reaffirms that he believes this will pass, but that does not mean that the land is safe from other dangers. He then takes Feyre to his study.
Sorry.
Oh, Lord.
It's not that I wasn't listening.
But you weren't listening.
But I was laughing. Between the dogs and then you talking with your hands, I was so distracted the entire time.
Okay, so from the beginning, I thought it was very interesting that she really wanted to get a lay of the land, and she can't read, she can barely write, but she knows how to hunt, and she takes those types of like thinking, like kind of measures to then like almost like kind of map out the house like you would a forest or something.
Chest.
Yeah.
Pirate chest, pirate map.
Pirate map. Yeah. I thought that was interesting. I didn't really expect her to actually do that.
Yeah, it's because even Tamlin mentions I think it's later in the next chapter too. He's like, you made a map, but you know how to hunt, and you can't write. Like,
no, he mentions it here because
is it this chapter he does mention?
Yeah, because he's like he's confused, and like he's very confused that the fact that she's so capable hunting but can't read or write.
Okay.
And then I think later on they talk about it again.
Yeah,
but
okay, that makes sense.
This is where like he truly like verbalizes that. Oh, he makes the connection that you can't read or write, but your hunting ability.
Yeah, it's the first time he recognizes it.
Yeah, and I think it's so funny when she is eavesdropping a little bit because the conversation between the two of them is super serious. We have no idea what's really going on. They're referring to something or someone in a malicious kind of air about them. And she has no idea what's going on at all.
Have you clocked the
she?
Not the she, what they keep saying about Tamlin?
Does it have to do with the quote that like for someone with a heart of stone, yours is certainly soft these days?
Foreshadowing.
Right, and so I already have like a couple ideas based off that one quote.
What do you think? Because I want to. Obviously, I'm not going to tell you, but I want to know what you're thinking.
I feel like there's a setup and a betrayal that's about to happen where Tamlin is supposed to give her over to someone. I think, and he's not going to want to do it, and he's getting soft because oh my god, he actually kind of likes the human. I feel like he's a delivery message, or like he has something in plan for her that she has no idea about that she's probably not going to like. He knows it. And he's becoming soft towards her. You can see it in the book. So I think it's something to do with her. He's going to betray her in some way.
Okay, that's an interesting theory. Do you have any other theories?
For someone with a heart of stone.
Sorry, my dog just decided to lay between me and her squishmallow. She's warmed my heart a little bit. She's so warm on my back.
Yes, you're very cute.
Sorry. Anyway, what were we talking about? Tamlin and this Stone of Heart. So, do you have any other theories?
Heart of Stone. Heart of Stone. I feel like he's so closed off. I don't know if it's about his behavior, or if it's about the whole like actual disease or like the light that actually is happening to it, and that's what it's pulling in. I feel like there's something really negative that's gonna happen because he's supposed to be a super like unfeeling, but he is feeling.
I can't wait till we get to that part where the foreshadowing happens. Just because you aren't gonna recognize it until it happens.
Damn it! I'm oblivious.
Because your theories, you had good theories, but they're correct.
Okay. I'm scared then.
All right. What else happened in this chapter?
This one, and then so she gets caught, but she kind of plays it off a little bit.
She did a good job playing it off.
Yeah,
I think so at least.
They weren't really suspicious of her.
Like they totally knew she was eavesdropping.
Absolutely.
But the way she played it off, she's like, oh, hello, boys.
She was so awkward. It was so funny. She's like, the one thing she can think of is, "Are you going on patrol, Lucian? Can I get out of here?
Help!
Oh, and I think it's so interesting. He's mentioned it, I think, once or twice before now. He keeps talking about people taking care of her or her taking care of people, back and forth, back and forth. He keeps making it a thing of why is no one taking care of you, or why are you taking care of other people? Is that the foreshadow?
Who knows? Sorry, I'm doing the Grinch fingers. I'm sorry, ma'am. The bird is not going to do anything to me. But
Yeah.
There's a thing.
Oh Lord. Okay, good to know. And then from there, and then he points out that he does know that she took a knife like the first night.
Yeah, he's like,
it's not gonna do much, but I know you have it.
Safe with it, sure.
Like you can cut meat with that. Is it gonna do anything to a fairy?
Just the way you said that didn't sound right. Oh Lord. Anyway.
Okay.
So is there anything else in this chapter that we need to discuss?
Other than just kind of like
the question, obviously. So what's your question? What's the question?
My question is, what are your thoughts on Feyre constantly downgrading herself as stupid and insignificant human? Like, why does she? How do you feel about her constantly kind of talking?
It annoys the crap out of me that she keeps saying it. I'm like, I'm going to smack you. Obviously, I'm not going to say the B word on here because we had to tell Sophia
YouTube.
Yes, YouTube, and I also had to tell Sophia to stop cursing so much.
Yeah,
so I'm not going to do it this time. But I'm just like, this dumb bitch.
Yeah, okay. From her perspective, though, a lot of all the things she's saying to herself has been told to her. This is not
she's
her.
Also very negative.
It's not just her self-talk. This is stuff that's been repeated to her over and over again by her sister. I feel like until she has a breakthrough, she's gonna continue thinking like this. Like she's still stuck. Mm-hmm. She doesn't know what she's doing. She doesn't know where she's going. She doesn't have a plan. And more than anything, she can see all these like beings around her that are so much stronger than her and can hear more, have magic, this and that. Truly on the totem pole, she is at the bottom. But the over and over and over again, it is frustrating because you know, I already know this right now. There are weird oddities about her that don't really. I feel like there's weird little things about her that just don't make sense as a regular human. And
oh, good, you noticed it.
I did. I've noticed it. So like,
and then at the end of the book, everything will make sense.
I already have a semi idea, but I don't want to speak it into a fruition until we get through the next like bunch of chapters because I need a little more. I need more evidence before I kind of spit out this half idea in my brain. But
yeah, I'm just like, oh, good, you did catch that because they mentioned it in a little bit later in the chapters, didn't they?
Oh, I think a tiny bit,
a little bit,
just a itty bit,
just a wee bit.
But all right,
chapter 13.
Chapter 13.
Tamlin takes Feyre to the study, and with a wave of his hands, lights all the candles in the study. Feyre is impressed and shocked at the room full of books. She wants to write a letter to her family to let them know that she's safe and to warn them about the blight that may spread to their lands. She attempts to write out words that she doesn't know, ashamed to ask Tamlin or Lucien for help. She tosses her list of words in the garbage. As Feyre wanders the room, she discovers a mural illustrating the story of Prythian, including the battle between humans and Fae and the redistribution of land. It also details the 7 Prythian courts: spring, summer, autumn, winter, dawn, day, and night. Tamlin enters and offers to help Feyre learn to... Sorry, excuse me, she does not. I'm so tired. Tamlin enters the room and offers to help Feyre write a letter to her family, but she refuses. She goes to Lucien's room and asks him how to trap a cereal without actually asking him how to trap a cereal, and also to get information on how to break the treaty. He tells her that if he were a cereal, she could find him in the western woods near young birch trees. He also recommends to use slaughtered chickens and a snare with a double loop. He suggests making sure that there's running water nearby since the cereal do not like to cross it. He makes it very clear Tamlin would not approve of her plan or the information he shared. Lucien also tells Feyre he's beginning to like her even if she's a human.
One part of that really caught my eye, and it's during this scene, is when he also makes that small little kind of offhand comment saying that he'll be in the area hunting as well.
Yes, you're right. He does say that.
He does say that, and there's a foreshadowing to that, so I'm not going to touch it, but he does mention that. And first and foremost, she has a pride issue. Feyre has a pride issue.
Do you think she has pride or she has a big ego?
No, I think she has pride. I don't think it's an ego-based thing because she thinks so lowly of herself. It's pride.
Yeah, you're right. Now that you point it out, yes, you're right.
Yeah, because like she already thinks of herself as just a regular like old human that can't do much, and she already is now proving even further to her, at least in her mind, that she really is a stupid human because she can't read or write.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like it's her fault.
Yeah, and it's and even he mentions that, like, I don't know if it's this chapter or later. It's a shortcoming. It's not your fault. You don't know how to write.
I think it's in like the next 2 chapters that he reinforces that. But here, I think he makes like he is when he starts really connecting that she really doesn't understand much of the written or.
Well, yeah, because he's the one who pulled the list out of the trash can. He's like, wow, she can't write anything. Trying not to curse.
Yes.
It's your brain. But yeah, and I thought the mural that was tucked away specifically, like it was hidden from everything. I'm kind of curious why it was hidden in the study. And like, it makes sense it's in the study, but at the same time, like,
why is it out of the way?
Yeah.
I think it's interesting about that mural too is as she like peruses all of it, it's very, very, very detailed on the kind of fairy side. Why do I keep forgetting Prithian? The Prithian side of the story. It hints and like does mention where the humans kind of come back and forth, but they won't paint it. They're not giving it detail on this mural. It's very much abandoned on the human parts, which I thought
they don't care about the human world.
There's not even a thought to give. Like they did not add any.
You said it the appropriate way, so I was just like, oh, look at you.
But I thought that was interesting too, and I think that would be something. I know I don't even think this will happen, but I thought as I was listening to this, I thought, what if she creates a little project for herself where she fills in the little human sides?
Oh, that would be cool.
I thought that would be so interesting.
But yeah, I specifically liked the detail specifically because it's foreshadowing in specifically one of the courts that she looked at.
Was it the island?
Nope.
No. Night? Yeah, okay. Like I remember she did spend a lot of time kind of describing the imagery on Night and then the spring court a lot, and then the one island that she doesn't have any idea about, which I thought was interesting because she kind of had an idea about Prithian, but she had no idea about the island. What is this?
What's this? What
is
it? So chapter question is, did Lucian have any underlying motives for sending Feyre to the cereal?
So there's a little bit of foreshadowing with this, because he's very, very vague when he's talking about it, but he's still like vaguely obvious.
Mm-hmm. He's giving I'm giving you instructions without giving you the instructions.
Exactly, and he's giving her all these instructions, but like you can't tell if he actually likes her all that much or not right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think in this moment he doesn't know if he likes her or not, which is why he's willing to let her risk her life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why I asked the question, because it was like, do you think he was purposely trying to plan on not murdering her, but you know what I mean, like
put her in a questionable circumstance?
Yeah, so it's like,
it's not my fault she's dead, but she's dead.
It's my fault, but it's not my fault.
Like, I didn't kill her, but she did go out, and I kind of talked about it. Ooh, you could play it off if you wanted to, but
that's like, it's like he does, but he doesn't. Yeah. He's like, I want you to get the answers you want, but at the same time, like,
I want you gone.
I won't miss you.
Yeah, he doesn't want her there. She killed his friend.
Yeah,
straight up. And this Lucian, in and of itself, he has a lot of trauma. You can just tell by how he acts and how he presents himself.
Later in the chapters, we learn about his trauma.
So. Yeah, and it's very interesting. And I think he just hasn't decided whether or not that if he truly likes her or not. And so he doesn't care if she lives or dies. So he will let her risk herself because he doesn't care either way.
Yeah, no, I agree.
All right.
Chapter 14.
That's right. Let's go. Varys sets up a trap and captures the cereal with the helpful knowledge from Lucian. And she describes it as a tall, thin, veiled figure in dark robes. She asks if it is there and if there is any way for her to go home. And it says that unless she wants her and her family to be killed, no. She continues on and asks what the Suriel knows about Tamlin, and it asks her to be more specific, as it knows a lot about the High Lord of the Spring Court. And this is when Feyre finally realizes that Tamlin is a High Lord, not just a regular one. Feyre asks what can be done about the blight that has crossed Prythian, and the Suriel tells her just to stay with the High Lord, and you will be fine if you just stick with Tamlin. The Suriel tells her that starts to tell her a story about the island across the sea that is known in the fairy world as Hybern, that is ruled by a powerful king, not a court. No humans exist there anymore, as they were all killed. The king has a throne made out of human bones. The king of Hybern is unhappy with the treaty, and 100 years ago, he decided to send his most loyal commanders to Prythian to wage war against humans. And while doing so, they infiltrate the High Fae courts for 50 years. But then one of his commanders betrays him, and now they're known as the Deceiver. Suriel says, as he's interrupted by his story, that they aren't alone, and tells Feyre to free it and run back to the manor and stay there, telling Feyre that the Naga are coming, fairies made of shadows, hate, and rot. Feyre goes to free the Suriel when the 4 Naga appear. Sorry, that I mistyped something and I almost said something wrong there, but what do you think?
I really love the Suriel. Suriel is one of my favorite characters, like, out of, like, the other lower class fairies we end up meeting. Everyone loves the Suriel. Like,
he's such a he really is he's a gossiper.
Oh yeah,
he's a true girl. He's a girl's girl. He's gossiping. He wants to give you information, but he's also kind of sassy and petty, and he wants you to tell him exactly what the question is. What are you?
He taps his fingers when he talks.
That's right.
So I'm trying to get it on my microphone.
I was like, what are you doing? Oh, right. Yes.
Like, oh yeah. In the dramatized version, he talks every time he clicks his nails every time. So it was
anyway. For a second, I was like, what the hell are you doing? Have you stroke?
We actually just listened to it. We both listened to the dramatized version before at work today while we were at work. Well, brain talk. We listened to the dramatized version while we were at work, so we were all caught up.
Yeah.
And, that's why I'm laughing. She didn't remember it.
Well, I was also doing, I was busy as hell during this part, so I'm actually not surprised. But one thing I think is so interesting is, I feel like, I don't know if this is going to call back to something else. Why does he feel like he has to talk about Hybern? Why does he feel like he needs to talk about Hybern? I feel like it came out of nowhere, didn't it?
Foreshadowing.
Right? Okay. I was about to be like, I feel like that came out of nowhere. Good to know.
Who do you think the Deceiver is?
The Deceiver?
Because it's up to you. I can tell you without it being...
I feel like it's Lucian.
No?
You
think it's Lucian?
I don't know. He's the only other kind of semi-high fae person in the area that we've met. I don't know we haven't met any other high ones. High fae or any, people who could actually infiltrate.
Do you want...
Is it Alice?
No.
No, damn it. Okay. No.
No.
But are they still here? In the spring court?
No, we haven't. They're not in the spring court.
Oh, they're not in the spring court?
Would you like to know?
Yes, I do.
So the Deceiver is the her they keep talking about.
The one that everyone's...
Yeah.
Varys sets up a trap and captures the Suriel with the helpful knowledge from Lucian, and she describes it as a tall, thin, veiled figure in dark robes. She asks if it is there and if there is any way for her to go home, and it says that unless she wants her and her family to be killed, no. She continues on and asks what the Suriel knows about Tamlin, and it asks her to be more specific, as it knows a lot about the High Lord of the Spring Court. And this is when Feyre finally realizes that Tamlin is a High Lord, not just a regular one. Feyre asks what can be done about the blight that has crossed Prythian, and the Suriel tells her just to stay with the High Lord, and you will be fine if you just stick with Tamlin. The Suriel tells her that starts to tell her a story about the island across the sea that is known in the fairy world as Hybern, that is ruled by a powerful king, not a court. No humans exist there anymore, as they were all killed. The king has a throne made out of human bones. The king of Hybern is unhappy with the treaty, and 100 years ago, he decided to send his most loyal commanders to Prythian to wage war against humans. And while doing so, they infiltrate the High Fae courts for 50 years. But then one of his commanders betrays him, and now they're known as the Deceiver. Suriel says, as he's interrupted by his story, that they aren't alone, and tells Feyre to free it and run back to the manor and stay there, telling Feyre that the Naga are coming, fairies made of shadows, hate, and rot. Feyre goes to free the Suriel when the 4 Naga appear. Sorry, that I mistyped something and I almost said something wrong there, but what do you think?
I really love the Suriel. Suriel is one of my favorite characters, like, out of, like, the other lower class fairies we end up meeting. Everyone loves the Suriel. Like,
he's such a he really is he's a gossiper.
Oh yeah,
he's a true girl. He's a girl's girl. He's gossiping. He wants to give you information, but he's also kind of sassy and petty, and he wants you to tell him exactly what the question is. What are you?
He taps his fingers when he talks.
That's right.
So I'm trying to get it on my microphone.
I was like, what are you doing? Oh, right. Yes.
Like, oh yeah. In the dramatized version, he talks every time he clicks his nails every time. So it was,
anyway. For a second, I was like, what the hell are you doing? Are you having a stroke?
We actually just listened to it. We both listened to the dramatized version before at work today while we were at work. Well, brain talk. We listened to the dramatized version while we were at work, so we were all caught up.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm laughing. She didn't remember it.
Well, I was also doing, I was busy as hell during this part, so I'm actually not surprised. But one thing I think is so interesting is, I feel like, I don't know if this is going to call back to something else. Why does he feel like he has to talk about Hybern? Why does he feel like he needs to talk about Hybern? I feel like it came out of nowhere, didn't it?
Foreshadowing.
Right? Okay. I was about to be like, I feel like that came so out of nowhere. Good to know.
Who do you think the Deceiver is?
The Deceiver?
Because it's up to you. I can tell you without it being...
I feel like it's Lucian.
No?
You
think it's Lucian?
I don't know. He's the only other kind of semi-high fae person in the area that we've met. I don't know we haven't met any other high ones. High fae or any, people who could actually infiltrate.
Do you want...
Is it Alice?
No,
damn it. Okay. I don't know.
No.
But are they still here? In the spring court?
No, we haven't. They're not in the spring court.
Oh, they're not in the spring court?
Would you like to know?
Yes, I do.
So the Deceiver is the her they keep talking about.
The one that everyone's fucking scared of? Oh, language. Sorry. That was so bad.
I got excited.
I got excited. The one that everyone's scared of?
It's the her.
Yes. Yeah, cause everyone's whispering this and that. It's all very tiny little things. Oh no, I don't.
And the her is also the one.
Oh wait. I think you're about to go further ahead, aren't you? Okay, no, pause.
Dang it.
Pause.
Fine. Yes, I think you know what I'm talking about now.
Now that you say that, though, that's so interesting because
it's the her.
It's the her, but wait, it's her. the reason 50 years ago, that's a interesting time frame. That's when all the masks got got all attached. I
thought you just cursed.
I was like, no, I said friggin'. I said friggin'. When the masks get put on, okay, I feel like there's a dot that just.
She's the reason for the masks.
Okay, so yes, but we don't know why yet.
Yes.
Okay.
I know, you don't.
We, the audience, who haven't read it before yet, don't know. Okay.
Wow, that felt very pointed.
Okay.
In other words, using the nested finger.
Yes.
You don't know what I'm talking about. The audience will if they've read the book.
Okay, love that. Okay, but
I'm about to turn my arm over that.
But I think it's also interesting that he doesn't get to finish his story because he's interrupted by more dark creatures. There's just so many. Dark fairies. They just keep coming over, not in the inappropriate way.
Sorry, I've got a dirty mind. I look at her every time she says something inappropriate.
But I think it's so interesting that every time something like feels like it's going forward for her, more dark creatures just keep pouring out everywhere.
It's almost like the herd doesn't want them talking about it.
Obviously, at this point, I feel like everyone kind of knows that. They won't talk about her in front of her. They don't even talk about it unless it's like with one person at a time. Like I've noticed that as well. Like Alice kind of knows what's going on, but not really.
Alice knows what's going on.
Well, she knows what's going on, but she won't say anything. She's not participating.
She did exactly what Lucian did. Being helpful.
Yeah. Well, that's later.
Yeah.
But I think the Naga really freaked me out once in the dramatized version. Once it's like introduced right here.
I'm sorry, I was laughing the entire time while they were the dramatized version when they were chasing after her and the back. Just you could hear them in the background going.
I was watching weird like ghost stuff before, so like hearing that really freaked me out actually because it was similar to something I overheard on a different like thing I was listening to. So that's why it freaked me out. But also Naga, I feel like it like kind of hints to old mythology of like.
While you talk, I'm gonna pull up images of the the dark fairies we've seen so far.
Okay, because I feel like the Naga almost make me think of like the Greek mythology of like the evil serpent. Like how like the gods change you in some way into a serpent because multiple gods do it over time because it sounded like their voices they did have like a particular hiss to it.
So here's that's not a good photo. Yeah, let's see. Come on.
But
the Naga is not.
While you look that
up,
the
Naga is not supposed to be hot. Why does this Naga have six pack?
Because people are strange.
This one like it's blurry, but. Hold, please.
Yeah, you're good. While you look, let me pose this. Do you think the risk was worth it for Feyre to capture the cereal?
I think it was important that she captured the cereal because yeah, I do think it was important because she learned more of the history that will be needed for later in the
series.
Yes.
Yeah. So she just showed me a picture of what they kind of pictured the Naga as. Honestly, that's kind of what I was picturing, except the body being like that, like snake-like, and I don't like that.
Let's see. Let's find the bog.
Oh wait, I kind of know. Wait, no, pull up the cereal first.
No, but you had to see the bog first.
Oh, okay. The cereal is technically a dark spirit, isn't he?
Yes, dear.
Okay.
Well, no, not really.
No.
I don't think he is.
What court would he doesn't belong. Oh wait, he mentioned that actually. He doesn't belong to any courts. Oh, he looks basically like the Grim Reaper. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I like that actually. That's less scary to me than the Naga.
Yeah.
But I thought that was interesting too. He doesn't come from any courts. He comes before the
he's old as time itself.
He's as old as time itself. He's very much Shadow Man.
Yes.
Like Shadow Man, you know?
I am the Shadow Man.
I am the Shadow Man.
I'm trying to find a picture of the puka too, because.
Oh yeah. Well, do we actually know what its original form would look like, or does it have, or is it like the Bogart where it doesn't have a form unless?
I don't think so, to be honest. Now that I'm thinking about it, but so we met the Naga, the bog, the cereal.
The Puka.
Who else did we meet?
We haven't met anyone else. We're gonna meet like 3 more people in the next couple of.
I'm trying to think what's the next monster, so I have it pulled up for you.
I would.
Sorry, we're totally going off on a tangent here, and that's totally okay. But
Hamlin, Alice. I would say.
Oh, the adder.
The adder?
The adder.
Which one's that?
It's when Feyre catches them talking to nothing in the woods.
Oh my god, that's right. I was also gonna say
the adder's creepy.
Yeah, okay. Because I was gonna say also, I think if this is before the adder, or maybe right after. But when Feyre, no, this is way foreshadowing. Maybe I'll wait.
I'm gonna save that, but maybe we get there. But anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna
say
foreshadowing. The faceless woman thing freaks me out because I feel like that's a huge. I feel like that's gonna play a part and that's gonna freak me out. Is it?
You will eventually learn what her face looks like, but she is, yes, she's important.
Is she the she?
I wasn't trying to say that earlier or anything.
Is she the she?
She is the she.
I don't like that. Wait, faceless. But wait,
you will. She's the high fae, so you will eventually learn what her face looks like. Okay, but Feyre doesn't know what her. You know, it's that dream where you don't know what that person looks like, but you get their vibes.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we should move on to chapter. What chapter are we on? 15?
15.
All right, so I guess my turn.
Have fun.
Feyre sees the Naga for the first time. They are semi-human, semi-serpent, scaly creatures with sharp claws. She thinks about screaming for Lucian, but doubts he will be able to come to her rescue. She still gathers a scream to distract Wow, my brain is over it tonight. She gathers a scream to distract the creatures, draws her bow, and shoots the arrow to break the snare and free the Suriel. She shoots one of the Naga with the arrow and
sprints.
Yeah, sprints towards the stream. It says speeds towards the stream.
I don't like speeds.
And sprints towards the stream, though water doesn't hurt these creatures. Too far away to hope Lucian will hear her, Feyre runs as fast as she can, but it's not enough. The creatures will surround her, fueled by anger, fear, and instinct. She stabs one of the creatures with a knife hidden in her boot. She is slammed to the ground by the Naga, and Feyre hears a roar. Tamlin arrives and tears the throat of one of the Naga, while the other one flees. Tamlin uses his magic to soothe Feyre's injuries, and Tamlin asks Feyre what she was doing in the woods, but she does not tell him her plan that she trapped the Suriel. He warns her to stay close to the house, especially when he is out on patrol. She thanks him for saving her life, and Feyre remembers the Suriel's advice not to search for any more answers. Deciding what little information she can share with her family will have to be enough. Feyre notices Tamlin seems a little more defeated than victorious.
I always thought that was a very kind of... He's a warrior, but every time he comes back from a fight, it's like it takes a piece of him with him. And I think that's so interesting. Because every time he fights something, and with the bog, with this, he just keeps, like, he's a warrior, but he's something about being soft. I don't know what it is. It seems like...
Which is interesting with the whole heart of the stone heart comments, you know?
Because, like, is it... I don't know. I don't understand that. I'm looking forward to figuring out what that part of that is a bit, of, like, why he keeps, like, almost feeling defeated every time he wins something. Like, what's the... Why... I want to know the why.
I get that.
I don't know if I'll get it, but I want it.
So this is the chapter where we can talk about how Lucian betrayed her for about 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And then comes. That was the foreshadowing we were talking about.
Yes, he hesitates. He doesn't show up immediately.
Yep.
When he said he would, basically.
Yes, and so that's kind of
what we were talking about before.
Did he have a different motive for sending her?
Right.
Which later in that we will discuss that in another chapter in this episode.
Yeah, when she sees Lucian again, she'll be able to kind of talk to him about it. Sorry, if you hear someone chewing, it's my pit bull deciding that his foot's delicious. What are you doing? Goodness gracious. Okay.
It's like toe jam.
Toe jam.
That's kind of jam.
Something
right back at it.
Odin, enough. Enough. But they're mean. The Naga, when they're talking and surrounding her and all that, what they're saying to her, they're mean. Both of our dogs.
Now you're jealous, Hera.
Yeah.
Okay. Hera is my dog. Odin is hers. So,
if you hear us yelling at them.
But yeah, no, I agree. The Naga, they're not very nice, but they're also made of hate and.
Yeah, their constitution.
Yeah.
Is not of positive. Yeah. Emotions by any means.
They're dark fairies.
Yeah.
So. But she's able to kill one of them.
2 of them. She kills 2 of them. In the first, she shoots one, dead. That's second one.
And then the other one she stabs, and then
Tamlin kills the other 2.
Tamlin guts him. That's right.
Yeah, because it's the before she crosses the stream, she shoots, runs, and then she's able to shoot one more. So it's only 3 chasing her at first, and then she downs one, and that's when Tamlin, and then Tamlin
finds one, and then the other one flees. You're right.
Yeah.
All right.
I think
that's her girl.
Yeah, and I thought it was also interesting. They didn't really mention it in the summary part, but when Tamlin heals her, she's really thrown. Like she's traumatized a little bit by the Naga.
I'm gonna be honest. By the end of this book, Farah is
extremely traumatized. Extremely traumatized.
Traumatized.
Honestly, I'm not surprised.
In book 2, we explore her trauma. So
I love that. Yeah, so we're getting all the trauma now, and then we get to explore it. We're
experiencing the trauma with her, and then we get to explore her trauma.
Love that. But she's scared of Tamlin in that moment for a minute while he has his claws out, and although he's trying to help her, like she can't differentiate in that moment.
And you have to also remember the serial also just told her that he is a High Lord of Prythian.
But he also, in contrast, said, "Stay with him. He's safe."
Yes.
So it's that whole back and forth.
So she's trying to decide whether or not she wants to stay with him or not.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah. So I'm trying to think of a question, if I can think of a question, or if you have a question for chapter 15, because I didn't write down a question.
For 15, honestly, what do you think happened to the last one, the last Naga?
Oh, he probably ran back to his pack. I think he ran back to his pack.
Where?
Because remember, Tamlin said he was hunting a pack of and those 4 smelt and heard.
I wonder who sent them then. Because why would a pack of darker creatures be near this for her?
I bet it's her.
Oh, it's the her. Yes, yeah, right.
Her. Sorry, not Farah. The her.
The her.
Capital H.
Yes. We'll name her the her for now instead of her.
I feel like we need to give her a funny name until we figure out who it is.
Well, honestly, it's not a funny name, but we'll be able to give her a name in a couple of chapters, unfortunately. I remember this part, and it really made me sad.
The heck?
Foreshadowing. I'll tell you off camera.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, I just listened to this, and she definitely is her name. She's not named yet, so.
No, she's not named, but what she does.
Yes, what she does, but we need a funny name.
Oh, I was gonna say something.
Like, it needs to be like a funny name, like Lucy or like Fran, or an old school 80s name, just like so we have something to call her by instead of her.
Betty.
Betty is my dead grandmother.
Damn it. Okay, not Betty. I can't do that one. Never mind. That's my grandmother. That's her nickname, at least.
Janice. We should call her Janice.
Janet.
Janet.
Because I'm going to say Janice. I'm going to say something else.
Okay, we'll call her Janet. So Janet. Yeah. I think Janet is the one who's sending
all these dark creatures.
Yeah, because I think it's a warning for Tamlin.
I want to understand why she gives sorry, language. Why she cares. I want to understand why she cares. Like, why... is she doing this to other courts as well? Is it only his?
I can't tell you because of
okay, I need
foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing. Just say foreshadowing then, because honestly, having this out here,
I can't tell you, but we do learn. We will learn in this book why she does what she does.
Okay, can I at least know this? Is she doing this to other courts? Worse to other courts? Oh,
I would say it's worse for the other courts. The Spring Court at least has free realm. Rome.
Okay.
That's all I'm going to say.
All right, then.
So, you ready for chapter 16?
Absolutely.
All right.
Yay. Feyre asks Alice about the potential for war with more fairies entering the land, but Alice dissuades her from this line of questioning and tells her to let Tamlin handle it. Alice tells Feyre about her family, for she understands the need to protect family. Her sister and her sister's mate were murdered almost 50 years ago and left 2 children behind, and she now raises them. Lucien then reveals to Feyre that the fairies can, in fact, lie. Iron does absolutely nothing to them, but Ashwood does, as she's already seen. Tamlin once again offers to help Feyre write to her family and tells her they are fools for not seeing how much she did for them. Tamlin reveals that some fairies used to be close to humans and actually fought on their side of the war, which was how the humans survived for so long and were able to get to that treaty and for it to be signed. Tamlin reveals that Feyre's family have absolutely no memory of the day that he came for her, that he's glamored their memories, and they believe that she is helping a long lost aunt because she is sick. Also made sure that they believe that they heard a rumor of a threat from Prythian so that they know to run if there's any odd circumstances. With the threat of her family's lives settled by Tamlin's reassurances, Feyre asks Tamlin abruptly about some paints and saying that she really enjoys it and she finally feels comfortable enough to ask for something. He tells her he has a gallery in the manor that is closed up, but he will show her it once it's clean. And as Tamlin smiles at her, she makes a connection that her feelings are similar to Tamlin as they had been for Isaac. Aww. She's developing a little crush. It's a little crush. I think that's so interesting though, because she doesn't really love Isaac.
No.
She's comfortable. She lusts Isaac. She's comfortable with him.
Mm-hmm.
She's not comfortable with frickin' Tamlin, but she definitely lusts after him a little bit.
Yeah, she does, especially later in the Rose Garden.
Yeah. Oh yes, I remember that. I had to I giggled. Okay, but
the dramatized version of that part. My goodness. Okay. Anyway,
I think it's interesting that I think it's Alice. Feyre asks about the potential for war.
I don't know about you. Yes, sorry.
Go ahead.
Go off on a thing. I want to try that hot chocolate so badly.
The way they describe it, it does not sound like real hot chocolate, like our hot chocolate.
It sounds like Italian hot chocolate, where it's like literally melted chocolate.
Like it's like a 20% milk, 80% chocolate.
Yes.
I feel like
I love that Alice is like drink, kind of pulls like a Remus Lupin and goes, drink, you'll feel better.
Exactly. That's exactly what I thought of as she did that. And honestly, it's true. Yeah. It has enough hormones. Chocolate has enough natural hormones in it that it does lift your mood. So there is science behind that. I like the fact that that shows up in a lot of different books and stuff. I think it's nice that Tamlin once again offers to help write a letter to her family.
Yeah.
During this time, even though he's still reassuring her that they think she's fine. They don't remember that, they're not scared, they're not worried. They think that she just went on a trip to help somebody. Which also kind of makes me really sad. Kind of that they're so that Tamlin was able to glamour their memories so easily to not question her absence.
Yeah, because
it shows how much she cared about them, but how much they thought about her.
Or that he was concerned that her father was gonna end up coming after her, and she's like, yeah, no, he wouldn't have.
He wouldn't have.
It's just so sad.
It is really sad.
Because her sister's gonna come for her, but her father, that comment about her father made me really sad. I was like, oh.
But here's the thing. He's a pushover. And it's not even that he doesn't love her.
Who's a pushover? Her dad?
Her dad.
Okay, sorry. No, I just want to make sure we clarify who the he is.
Oh, yes. The dad's a huge pushover. And he's injured. And he never stands up for himself. He would never... It's just not...
The way Tamlin presented himself initially, there's no way he would have...
No.
Yeah, no, I agree.
He's not... Feyre's dad's not a brave person. He loves her. He loves his children. But he's not brave. He's not going to stand up because more than anything, he wants the easy way around. And it's obvious.
I agree.
But okay, something we also learned, they can't lie. And Iron does absolutely nothing.
Yeah, and so that also makes Feyre question whether or not
everything.
Yeah, the whole
taking care of her family. And
now that really makes her question, like,
is her family actually taken care of?
Yes, because like she was taking everything as truth, but now it's like,
oh, you can lie to me now. How do I know?
Yep.
Yeah, and they do reassure her that, like, for all the important stuff that they've ever said, they haven't been lying about that.
Mm-hmm.
Which I feel like is total. Oh, I can't swear. I don't know how to say that without swearing.
BS?
Yes, there we go. BS. That's such BS. I feel like that's such BS.
You can abbreviate it.
I was trying to any other version of that other than abbreviation.
Bullcrap.
I feel like bullcrap might actually. I feel like that's almost too close.
Fine, BS.
BS. That's what I was gonna say bullcrap, and I thought, I don't know. Okay, what do you? Wait.
Sorry, I wrote this one. As it hits you in the face.
Okay, no. I've asked Tamlin for. Oh, okay. So sorry, it took me for a second to like. Okay,
it's in cursive. I get it.
It wasn't even the cursive. It was truly the context. We were so in the beginning. This is so at the end.
Yes, because it ties into Tamlin giving her, or she asking for paints.
Yes. So what would you ask Tamlin for if you were in Feyre's position?
I don't know. I am also a very artistic person, so I would probably ask for paints. I have so much paint at my house. Paints, books. I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of similar to Feyre. I relate to Feyre a lot because I am that artistic reading. Obviously, she doesn't read, but
the artistic side you very connect to. I am not artistic at all. Mm-hmm. I love words, yes. Ability, no. But if I were to ask him anything, I want free access to that study room. I want access to those books. If I was in that position, not Feyre, but me.
Yeah, the library would be mine too. I'd be
like, I would ask to live in there, to be completely honest. I'd be like, can I sleep in here? Is it alright if I take a nap in here every once in a while? Like, I love libraries, and personal libraries are like my favorite thing in the world.
I can't wait till I can build mine. You can come help
me. I absolutely. I'll help you. I'll make sure my dad can make sure that your shelves won't fall on top of you.
Yes.
Like all of it.
Don't worry, I will be asking Papa for help.
Yes, he'll make sure it's secured to the wall by the studs and all the above.
Yes. Anyway,
all right, but yeah, I'd say books, but that's on par for me, to be completely honest.
It's on par for both of us. Yeah. I mean, anybody who reads ACOTAR, it's on par for us.
Truly.
So,
all right, you ready for the next chapter?
The rough chapter?
The rough chapter 17.
Yep, I guess I'm ready.
If you hear me sniffling, don't mind me.
Feyre awakes from a nightmare of the Suriel the Naga and a faceless woman shredding her throat. She hears shouts and runs to the stairs to see Tamlin carrying a blue fairy that is bleeding and severely injured. Lucien joins them, and Tamlin explains that the Summer Court fairy was dumped just over the border. The fairy cries out that she, aka Janet, took her wings, though she does not identify them.
His wings.
Sorry, excuse me. It does say he. Though he does not identify the mysterious woman, even though we're going to call her Janet.
Yep.
Feyre holds the fairy down as Tamlin tends to the wounds on his back. Lucien vomits and runs from the room. Tamlin can't stop the bleeding as his magic is no longer strong enough, and Feyre realizes that the fairy is going to die. She does all that she can to comfort him, even promising that he'll get his wings back. As Tamlin says an ancient prayer, Feyre holds the fairy's hand, refusing to let go until his last breath. She explains to Tamlin that she would want someone to do the same for her. She apologizes to Tamlin again for killing Andreas. In spite of Feyre's offer to help, Tamlin insists that he needs to bury the fairy alone and leaves and carries the creature to his final resting place.
This chapter was rough.
Yeah, especially in the dramatized version.
Because they it was no holds back. The way the actor was portraying the blue fairy.
My wings. She took my wings.
Like, he's crying. Like, it's a true sob. It's like the way this actor truly.
It's 100%. They gave it their all.
Yeah, it's a truly haunting kind of performance, how he's like acting. And it's so terrible that, like, the way, we don't go into detail in the summary by any means, but the way they're found, like, Janet did not just cut the wings off.
No, it's all ragged, like she chewed them off.
Like, she tore it off by like one
with her hands.
Like with her hands, like one freaking like handful at a time. Mm-hmm, like it was gouged out like multiple times. It was not a clean thing. She was like, this fairy was bleeding heavily even before they got into the house.
Yeah.
It was,
and it's funny because now we can talk about the Farrah's nightmare.
Yeah.
So Farrah's nightmare, she talks about a faceless woman shredding her throat. It's foreshadowing.
Yes.
Not exactly shredding her throat, but the faceless woman.
The faceless woman herself is the foreshadowing.
She's dreaming of Janet.
Right, but we can't see what she looks like.
Yeah, because we don't know what she looks like, but Farrah has had this dream a couple times now. She's
being influenced.
Yes, and the faceless woman has asked what her name is. The names hold power.
Oh my god, that's right. But has she said it?
Nope.
Good.
Because the last time she dreamt about the faceless woman, she was gurgling on her own blood.
That's right. So she couldn't say it. That's right.
So I wanted to point that out to you, that this faceless woman is the her. So now that you continue reading, we kind of get more in depth with the woman, this Janet lady that we keep talking about. Because she's going to start becoming more of a player in the book here. Right. Now that we're about halfway.
Yeah, through. We're just under halfway now.
So I think the book ends at 46.
Yeah,
we're about halfway through the book, but Janet's going to start playing some more power moves here soon.
I don't like how she plays. I'm kind of scared.
Yes, you should be.
Damn it.
But anyway, so yeah, let's see. I love that Lucian vomits and runs out of the room.
Honestly, as that's happening, it took me a minute to really realize why he's having such a bad reaction.
We learn about it in the next chapter, but it was just like
something I clocked before I even listened to the next chapter. I clocked it. He already has a mechanical eye. He has scars. He's traumatized by the act of someone hurting someone else, and because of that, I think that's why he completely froze. He didn't say anything. He didn't touch the fairy. He didn't help at all. He digested what was going on, puked, and ran.
Yeah, he did the bare minimum of clearing a table, and then he tapped out.
Yeah.
But I just love that Farrah was like, you know, the difference between Andreas and this fairy. She's like, almost wonder if, because she's traumatized. She's having these nightmares about Andreas. But she's like, if Andreas was in his, like, if he had switched back after the wolf, do you think she would have stayed and held his hand?
Yes.
Because that's what I wonder, is like, because that shows her humility towards the Fae. Mm-hmm. She didn't have to hold his hand. She could have just gone right back up to the bedroom. Mm-hmm. So it almost makes it almost like Tamlin almost falls a little bit more in love with her with the humility part that she shows.
Yeah, I think oh my god, 1 second. In that moment, if Andreas actually changed back, she would not have had as much of the stubborn reaction. She would not, if she had any actual inkling, because as she shot Andreas, she truly didn't believe it was fairy. She didn't. She kept looking for signs.
Yeah.
And she couldn't recognize them. And because of that, I think that if he was able to turn back, she would have had a much different reaction to everything else.
Yes, I agree. I just liked that he was so shocked because the way you treated Andreas versus this fairy, it was like wow.
I don't think they realize. I think Tamlin and Lucian don't realize that she truly believed he was a wolf.
Yeah.
I think they still believe that she killed a fairy. And she believes she killed a fairy. She didn't realize it, and I don't think either of them both understand that she didn't know, and they don't understand that.
Yeah. So, checker question: Do you think Feyre actually broke a promise to the Summer Fairy in regards to getting his wings back?
I don't think so. I think, personal belief, when you pass on
full body.
You pass on your soul, and however you imagine you as you, that's who you are. And those wings were a part of him. I think he has those wings in the afterlife. Personally.
No, I agree. I'm the same way. I think, pets, humans that lose a body part, like your boy over here,
my one eye.
Mr. Odin, he's gonna be over the Rainbow Bridge with 2 eyes.
That would be so strange to me. I've never seen him with 2 eyes ever.
But that other eye is waiting for
him. It's on hold.
It's in a jar in God's lab.
I've seen his doppelganger. I've seen my boy's doppelganger. I know. I've seen what those eyes could look like. I will be excited to see him 2-eyed and greeting me on that day.
But yeah, no, I agree. Like humans, like people who have lost a limb, and I believe.
If you believe that you were as your true self, you were better.
It's already waiting for you because exactly. It's gone. Technically, it's dead.
Yeah.
So it's waiting for you.
Yeah. But I feel like there's some people though, and I say this because of personal experiences, that when they had a removal, their lives got better.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like for the people who don't view it as trauma, it can go either way. To be honest, like I feel like especially for the soul. Like if your soul misses that, and it's going to reconnect in the afterlife.
Mm-hmm.
But if you didn't care, I feel like the soul won't yearn for it so much, I guess.
Yeah.
But that's all spiritual yabba yabba that I believe. I won't go into any other stuff for anything else.
Keep it PG.
Keep it PG.
The big 3 we don't talk about on the podcast.
Exactly.
Alrighty. But we're going to go ahead and move into Chapter 18. And please buckle in. Chapter 18 and 19, their summaries are quite long. Because we do get a lot of information in these next handful of chapters. So we are going to buckle down and discuss these. So here comes Chapter 18.
Whoop, whoop. Tamlin and Lucien later take Feyre to a beautiful glen in the spring court. While being shown the glen, Feyre teases Tamlin to the surprise of Lucien. Tamlin shows her a nearby pool where the water is like starlight reflecting in his hands. He tells Feyre a little bit about Lucien during this time. Lucien is the youngest son of the High Lord of the Autumn Court, and he is one of 7 brothers. He says the Autumn Court is cutthroat like every other court. The person who inherits the court is the strongest and not the oldest. Lucien never cared to rule or fight for the title. Lucien fell in love with a fairy woman that his father did not approve of due to her status. So he had her executed and made Lucien watch and had his brothers hold him down. Lucien left, abandoning his title and court, and went to the spring court, fleeing. 3 of his brothers decide to hunt after him to make sure that there wasn't another threat to the line of success. Lucien killed one of his brothers during this time, and Tamlin killed the other, sending the third brother back home, running away. Tamlin claimed Lucien in that moment as his own and named him emissary of the spring court. Feyre decides to go swimming in the pool, a response to Tamlin teasing her. Tamlin asks Feyre about her family and how they lost their fortune. She tells him about her father being known as the Prince of Merchants, which had been a name inherited by his father and his father before him 3 generations. But it was all a lie, a good name that masked 3 generations of bad debts. Her father found an opportunity to pay off his debts, but it was risky, and he decided to take it, and it did not end well for him. 8 years later, it sank. He sank his entire riches in a ship full of spices and fabrics on the way to Barat. But they all sank, and they were left with nothing. Creditors came, and when Feyre's father couldn't pay them, They broke his knee while Feyre watched and screamed at them to stop. Lucien admits to Feyre that he had heard her screaming later when they were heading back, when she had encountered the Naga, and had hesitated for a few seconds before trying to come and save her. In his own apology, he gives her a jeweled hunting knife. So there was a lot that went on. Do we want to start from the bottom, top to bottom?
I mean, I guess we might as well go in chronological order.
Okay. So Tamlin and Lucien bring her to the Glen.
Yes. I have theories myself for the Starlit Pool, but I can't tell you until we learn a little bit more about Dark Shadow Daddy.
Okay.
That's all I'm going to say, because we don't know his name yet. You don't know who he is, but
I know I can picture the voice right now. Yeah.
Yes, we're very introduced to him very, very beginning of
21.
Or excuse me, the very end. Yes. End of chapter 20, beginning of chapter 21. We won't learn his name or anything until later in the book, but he is first introduced. So I'm just going to call him Dark Shadow Daddy for now. But I think it has something to do with him and his backstory in regards to his family.
Like the phenomena of the Starlight Water?
I can't tell you anything about it.
But is it in regards to that he's connected?
Yes. Okay. I think he's in regards. I think it's his family's in regards to that.
Okay.
Some people will understand what I'm talking about in code, but I hope people understand. But
okay.
But yeah, the Glen, I love that she's like, I don't want to sit on the blanket. I want to experience I want to experience the grass. Oh my lord.
I know.
Sorry, my bad.
You're the one that's taking it.
Brain is in the gutter.
The brain is literally not even in the gutter. Okay, she's in the freaking sewage system right now. Okay.
But I love that she wants to experience this grass that she's never experienced before, because she explains how different it is in the human world.
Yeah, it's very different.
They're like, okay, weirdo.
Yeah, it's something that they overlook because it's so natural and normal for this area, but there's a very different feeling of nature between the realms.
Mm-hmm.
Like the human realm versus the fairy realm, they have very different feels to their nature points.
And I think it's so funny, the way I imagine it, it's like soft, dense clover versus that stuff you find in drainage fields. You know what I'm talking about, where it's it's really dry and gross and nasty.
It feels like hay.
Yes, it feels like hay, exactly. And so I'm I think sorry, one of the dogs just looked like he was going to bark, so we're trying to make sure he doesn't start barking.
I think he's good.
But that's how I'm imagining the human versus spring court grass.
Yeah, it's the rough, it's brittle, and it's it's crunchy on the human side, and then it's crispy.
Why is it spicy? Why is it spicy?
But then in the fairy realm, how it's like a blanket, you can lay on, Sherpa. Hera would love that.
Yeah, Hera loves Sherpa.
I think it's so funny too that Feyre's actually relaxing now a little bit. She's joking. She jokes twice.
It's almost like she's healing a little bit.
She's getting comfortable. She's no longer so
has a stick up her butt.
Yeah, she's accepting the fact that her life has changed now. She has to take it one step at a time. I finished that sentence so you wouldn't do the face.
Oh, if it helps, I wasn't even listening.
Oh, good. Okay. But from there, when we get Lucien's story, it's really sad.
Do we talk about it in this one, or is it the next one?
Lucien, no, it's this one. It's where he talks about.
Oh, that's right. Tamlin talks about it next to the pool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then we learn why Lucien throws up and runs away from this blue fairy when he dies.
Right, it's because he got
his trauma.
Yeah.
Did you just curse?
I don't know. Language.
Go
ahead and check that out.
Sorry, guys. We use the word language so I can check and post and edit edit out of the video.
Yeah,
I feel like we've dubbed me as the Captain America of the group.
Yes.
So just so you're curious why we keep saying language.
Yeah, it's something that you learn in this part, that family is not the end all be all of these high fairy courts.
It's the what is it? Choice family is more than blood, or whatever the saying is.
Blood is thicker than water.
Yeah, something like that.
It's not. It seems as if you should be more scared of your family than you should be other people. It seems like they're in multiple courts at this point. It seems to be the same.
I was just gonna say, because Tamlin experiences it with his family, Lucian experiences it with his family.
I think it's high court behavior at that point.
We'll see, because
oh no, is it okay?
I know another court that does it.
Another court that does do it or does not do it.
Does. That the children get treated the same way.
Have we talked about them yet?
Nope.
Okay, then I won't.
Shark Daddy. Oh my lord! What
are you
saying? English is my first. Oh my lord! Dark Shadow Daddy is the words I'm trying to say.
Oh, okay.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh, so we've heard about this place, but we haven't talked about it. Okay. Mm-hmm. It makes me really sad that he has fallen in love and his family's the one that takes her from him.
Well, and he even mentions, like, because the mating bond is so sacred, I wonder if his father would still have killed this fairy if it was his actual mate.
But didn't they say at one point that a mate bond takes time to develop? No, I thought at one point when
he said that he is hoping that the mating bond will kick in.
Oh, okay. I took that and then
they also talk like how High Fae will marry before the mating bond in hopes that it will do it, but not always. So it makes me wonder, would Lucian's father have still murdered this lesser fairy if she was actually his mate?
My only thought to kind of further that along would be is if his parents had the bond or not. That would be the deciding factor for me. I think if his parents were bonded, yes. If his parents weren't bonded, he would have killed her either way.
I can't tell you.
I don't know either, but I feel like that would be kind of the idea, is if Lucian's parents were bonded, I feel like he probably would have, the dad wouldn't have killed her. But if he wasn't bonded, I don't think he would have cared, to be completely honest. I don't think he would have realized.
I can't tell you because it's a fan theory. And we won't know until book 3.
Book 3? Okay. From there, I feel like that's so much trauma that he has to kill his own brother. His brothers are hunting him.
It says Lucian killed one and Tamlin killed the other.
Yeah. And then the third one runs.
Yes.
That's horrifying.
First off, that's a lot of children.
That's horrifying.
That's a lot of children for High Fae. For High Fae can't have children.
That's right.
Did you notice that and that math?
That is right. I didn't think about that when I was listening to it, but now, yeah, because Alice says that when her sister was getting pregnant, they were super surprised that
they were able to have it within 5 years.
Within 5 years. What's the age difference between Lucian and his siblings?
Excellent question.
How many?
I don't know. I think they said something like it's like 8 or 9
per kid.
No, like per this family, like that's how many siblings he has.
Right, but that's what I mean. Is they live really, really long lifetimes.
Yeah, so it's
how.
But so that is a lot of children.
Yeah.
For someone supposed barren High Fae, or not barren, but pretty close to barren.
But like
they can't procreate.
They have sickness right now. They're having a hard time doing all this. Isn't that because of that right now?
No.
Is that not connected? No. I thought that was connected, where people were getting sick. It was affecting the magic.
No, this is something that like they've always had trouble procreating. That's like the lesser fairies are able to breed like rabbits.
Okay. I can already hop onto the idea of that a little bit.
That's I think that's kind of what Moss is saying, is like the lesser fairies are able to breed like rabbits. That's why like there's so many Naga. Mm-hmm. Like they're but there's not a lot of High Fae. That's why there's the ruling. That's why they rule, because they're so pure.
I think I think that's so interesting too, because we were to go based off of that, then Sarah J. Maas, like how she kind of created the hierarchy, then is the lower fae can't have all that much magic then, because that's the only real difference. Is the more magic, the more powerful, the rougher the pregnancy. Is what I'm kind of like in my head thinking. Am I right?
Can't say nothing.
Damn it. Okay, so I'm in my head that feels like it's like I'm on the right track there. I'll kind of keep that in mind.
I can't say, because it's like yes and no.
Okay, so I'm on the right track, but I'm off somewhere.
Yes.
Okay, I can accept that.
But yeah, I would think the reason why the high fae are the ruling, because they can't breed as much as the lesser fairy. So the lesser fairy, the bloodline is watered down essentially. That's how I see it.
Mixing of
not even mixing, but it's like, it's like, so it's like
the more generations, the less magic.
Kind of, yeah. I would say it like that. It's like, so let's say you have like a family full of gingers, and the ginger is eventually going to die out because
it's recessive.
It's a recessive gene. So I almost wonder if magic is kind of that way too. Oh. So it's not a dominant thing. So it's like the more it's. I hate saying the word breed. Breed is so gross to me.
The more generations that occur, the more generations that occur.
Yes, so it's like if it's super strong in the great grandparents, the grandkids aren't going to have
nearly as much.
But I think that's why the high fae are so powerful, because they can't procreate
like that. Yeah, because
like that. So that makes sense to me.
I can get behind that idea. I can.
So I guess we should move on from talking about procreating.
Yes. Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, and so we kind of talked all about Lucien then, and then Feyre kind of goes. Tamlin starts asking Feyre about herself, and like
Tamlin talking to himself.
Yeah,
but that tracks.
When Tamlin kind of asks about Feyre and why her family was in the situation it was,
she almost didn't want to tell him at first, and then she's like, you know what? Why protect them?
Why protect them? A, but B, what's he gonna do?
Yeah, no, like nothing.
Nothing he can do right now will change what happened in the past.
Yeah.
So I think it was interesting though, how when Feyre talks about this, and at the very end when the creditors come and
it's only one creditor, just so
right. It's one.
It was only.
I thought it was more than one.
No, because they talk about how the creditors come and take his fortune, they take his house and leave him with enough gold to purchase the cottage, and they're able to survive for a couple of years. And then that one creditor and his cronies come and damage his leg.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. I'm thinking the cronies with the creditor.
Yes.
Okay,
so it's one in particular.
Okay, yeah. If I was Tamlin, hearing that from Feyre, that she had a young girl had to watch her father get his knee freaking language, having her father's knee be caved in, that's
shattered. And the fact that she was present for it.
She was present for it. She's screaming at them to stop. She's not like hiding or anything.
Like
she's
Nesta
right there. It's so interesting because before this, and I feel like it's probably going to be further on from this as well, he keeps asking who takes care of her, who takes care of her. No one's shielded her from anything.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to
that's why she's so brave and strong, is because
she's had to be.
Yeah, she's always had to be.
Like, she didn't have anyone being her crutch
even her mother didn't even do that.
No, her mother didn't even teach her how to read or write.
Well, she died before then.
She was 8, wasn't she?
No, I think it said...
Because, they talk about the governess. She wouldn't hire people to teach her. They were able to... The older daughters can. She can't.
And then the older daughters deemed the village school not good enough.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Anyway.
Yes.
From there... I forgot what we were talking about.
Yeah.
The creditors, yes.
And then at the very end, when they leave the Glen, Lucien finally admits that he hesitated helping her
He did wrong.
He did wrong. He said he would show up if she screamed, and he hesitated long enough to break that word.
Mm-hmm.
I do appreciate the fact that he does feel bad about it enough
was man enough to say something.
Man enough to say something, and man enough to be like, here is my apology, and here's something that in the future, if you were ever in this position again, you can fight them off. He gives her a weapon. And that's, I think, something really telling because he's suspicious of her and he's giving her something that could hurt him.
Yeah, please don't bury it in my back is what he says.
Word for word. Exactly.
Was it word for word? I was going to say, well, I know it was something similar to it.
Yeah, it's like, please, or like, don't bury this in my back.
Yeah. Yes.
But
that's the end of chapter 18. Sorry. Moving on to 19.
Moving on to 19. This one's also a really long chapter, so buckle in, guys.
Before Tamlin gives Feyre her painting supplies, he takes her to the freshly cleaned gallery. Feyre feels humbled by the space and the artwork. She stays for hours, and then Alice leads her to a room filled with canvases, paints, and brushes, where she begins to paint for hours. Feyre doesn't show anyone her paintings, feeling her work doesn't match her imagination. When Tamlin is away, worry keeps her from focusing on her painting. Though she continues to have nightmares, she starts to feel less afraid, remembering Suriel's advice that Tamlin will keep her safe. One night after dinner, upset that she has allowed herself to get distracted from finding answers to her questions, Feyre storms off to the garden. Tamlin? Who's Tamlin?
Tamlin, that's a fruit, my man.
Tamlin follows her and tells her that the garden was a mating present from his father to his mother. Feyre tells Tamlin she's upset that her family didn't fight for her or try to find her. Feyre grabs a rose, stabbing her hand with a thorn. Wow!
You cannot say his name right now.
It's the end of the day, isn't it?
It really is.
Tamlin kisses her palm to heal the wound. He promises answers to her questions when it is safe. The next morning, Tamlin follows Feyre to the woods. She laughs as he reads limericks that he created using the list of words she threw away. Tamlin explains the difference between marriage and the mating bond and tells her about the cruelty of his fathers and brothers. Since Tamlin never wanted his father's title, he became a warrior. When his family was killed, Tamlin became the High Lord, and many of the courtiers left, feeling that he was a beast. Feyre sees fairies building bonfires, and Tamlin explains that they are setting up for Calamai, or Fire Night. The ceremony generates magic that sustains the land for years. For the year, not years.
No, for the year, yeah.
Year. He tells Feyre that she is not invited and warns her to stay away from all the fairies. As they enter the garden, Tamlin tells Feyre to hide. Lucien joins Tamlin and they face an invisible foe, talking about the mysterious woman, aka Janet, who holds their fate in her hands. Before he leaves, the creature expresses surprise that Tamlin feels such fear in spite of his heart of stone. Tamlin tells Feyre that it was the Adder, a creature who lives up to the myths humans believe about fairies. They return to the house with Feyre wondering who the woman is that scares Tamlin and Lucien. And I am going to show Sophie the picture of the Adder now.
I don't like that.
I don't like that.
I don't like that.
That's what she paints.
Okay, so this thing, if you haven't seen it before, I would make it a mix between a Fury and a Gargoyle.
Or like a bat and a human had a baby.
Yeah, because like, you know how gargoyles, they're like super sharp, I guess is where I'm getting at with like the gargoyles. Like everything comes to a point. Yes. Everything in this image is coming, like almost looks like stone in a weird way, like with his antlers at the tips of his wings, the claws. It looks very, very like evil mystical type. Mm-hmm. And this is, I can understand when Tamlin says that this is what
it looks like it'll eat her face.
It looks like it'll enjoy ripping her face off. Mm-hmm. Truly.
Yep. Go back so we can discuss.
Yeah.
So Feyre gets her painting supplies and she spends the entire day painting.
Yeah.
I think my favorite part is that she doesn't want to show anybody because it doesn't match her imagination.
Right.
There's a meme on TikTok where it's Feyre is the supposed painter, like she's supposed to be really good, but everyone just lies to her and it's just like child's paintings.
That's so bad.
That's
so bad.
It's funny because you don't really notice it until she starts saying in the book, like, doesn't match my imagination. Like, I could never paint this rose. If she's like that good of an artist and she can paint like flowers in her house, she should be able to paint a rose.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Well, okay, here's the thing. Here's where I was thinking.
So do we actually think Farrah is a really good painter? Do we think she just everyone's lying to her and telling her that she's a really good painter?
I think there's an even third option here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I truly think that the stuff that she has painted, which is what she's been familiar with, I feel like that is good, but she's in a whole new place with whole new vegetation that looks completely different. I don't think she knows how to draw it, to be completely honest. I feel like right now it probably is bad. Mostly because she doesn't recognize these things. Like, these aren't like truly normal like vegetation for like the human world. She hasn't had practice with that. This is the first time she's drawing here. So I think she has some talent. I don't think she's as talented as, like, I feel like everyone in the like background of this story is like art. I feel like she has an eye for it. I feel like she but I don't know if she's like a true like master by any means.
But I just think it's so funny that that's one of my favorite memes on TikTok right now, is that Farrah's this supposed amazing artist and it's just a child's painting, finger painting of like, sticks for trees, the sun's in the corner, and
right,
it's stick people.
I like that though. Honestly, I think that's funny. I think that's hilarious.
Cheeks, by the way.
We're under a roof.
Anyways, let's see what else we want to talk about. Let's talk about Farrah getting upset at dinner.
Yeah, so I think once, and it's not just one day. So the first day she gets the painting, and then for like, isn't it like a week now? She's constantly painting over and over.
I think they say a few weeks.
A few weeks, right? I don't know what just fell. Ignore that.
It scared me. My goodness.
But basically, I think it's so interesting because she gets angry for no reason of Tamlin or Lucien, really.
She's mad at her family.
She's mad at her family. She's mad at herself.
Yep.
She doesn't feel like she should be able to enjoy this. Ignore the jump. But she doesn't feel like she should be able to enjoy this. She feels like she should be doing more. And because she's quote unquote relaxing and painting all day, she feels like she's not doing enough, and it makes her mad at herself. And then having all this time to herself, it makes her think about how easy it's going to be for her family to forget her. And all of that just combines, and she takes it out on Tamlin and Lucien, like kind of silently, but still.
Well, because I think she does it. She's so in her head. She says like she doesn't realize Lucien had left before dessert, and then she gets up because I think Tamlin says something to her, and she's like, F this guy. Like,
yeah, he says an offhanded thing. I can't remember exactly what he said, but
your hair is clean.
I still think that's the funniest thing.
I can't remember exactly what he said, but yeah. And if you haven't listened to the dramatized version, it sounds like Tamlin straight up is making out with her hand when he's like kissing and healing the thorn.
Yeah,
it was very not something I wanted to listen to at work.
I
was like, oh my,
oh lord, I almost screamed for a second because I wasn't expecting that noise exactly the way it was. Or a lot of his more animalistic noises in general.
They had every right to think he was a beast. That's why they left.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yes.
So what did you think about Tamlin writing limericks for Farrah with her words?
I love it. To be completely honest with you, I think it's so funny. But like, he's actually trying to connect with her in this moment. That's why I also love that. Is he's pulling something from his own past and applying it with her, and not even asking her to join in, but like, I want to do this with you. Something I've done.
This for you.
I did this for you. I want to see your reaction to what I've done.
Well, it's not only the reaction. He did it for her. He also is showing her how these words are used in a sentence, so she
can use them
because she can't read. She can't look up a dictionary and look at the things. So all she knows is context clues.
Yeah,
that's how she learned to speak.
Exactly. If she's learned to speak a lot of things. Excuse me 1 second. Odin, stop chewing. Don't you glare at me like that. Oh.
Anyway,
I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I like that he, in a way, was being nice, but at the same time, like, doing how boys do.
Yeah, like kind of like, I know this. I want to help you. You're not gonna want me to help you, so I'm gonna just do this little thing. Yeah. He plays very good dorky boy in this moment.
Yep, and then we also learn about the difference between marriage and the mating bond,
yes.
which is important to the story, and will be very important in book 2. So
okay.
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 We also learn about his cruelty, or his father's cruelty.
Right.
Let's see.
Not just his father's, but the mother's too. And the only person who really like wasn't cruel was his mother, but his mother also looked the other way.
Yes, she absolutely. He does stay like she never
stood up.
There was another term, but for the life of me, I can't remember what the heck it was. But yeah, she does. She does look the other way in regards to
her partner's behavior.
Yeah, her mate's behavior.
Yeah.
So we discussed Calamai.
Right, Fire Night, and that's
it's the next chapter is the actual celebration. But what do you think Calamai is? Because I know what Calamai is.
I think if this is the spring quarter, I feel like it does equate to a ritual that we have in pagan and that's in paganism. I just can't remember which one it's. Is it the one that's coming up right now?
Astera?
Yeah.
Astera is more spring. I think.
That's what I was thinking.
It's beginning of spring. She says it's springtime in the human realm in this chapter.
Wouldn't it be Astera?
I would think so.
And this is the spring court. That's why I was also kind of.
Yes, but what activities do you think are happening?
Oh, sex.
I'm so glad you caught on to that.
Sex.
Did you not realize how awkward Tamlin was when he was about to parkour out to the night? Yeah.
But what is he gonna do? That's my thing. What is he gonna do?
We're gonna learn in the next 10 chapters because Calamai continues on to chapter 21. But I wanted to see if Sophie picked up on it before.
Here's the thing.
Beforehand, because
there was so much illusion.
I'm like, I've got to know if she can pick up on it because it's funny to me.
Yes, it's totally about that. And the next chapter, you get a feel. She doesn't understand this. Feyre doesn't understand that.
Well, there's context clues in the next chapter about what's going to happen because we talk about a sensitive subject for some of our viewers.
Yes, and I'll warn it before.
Yes, we will trigger warn it before. So you guys can know, and I'll on the screen I'll go ahead and pop up time frames as well to jump to so we don't have to discuss it, or
you can skip past whichever sections you don't feel comfortable with.
Yes, but so I guess maybe we should move on.
Oh wait, one thing. I just want to think about Fire Night in general. Why I keep referring it to that way, honestly, is because Feyre never heard of it called.
Yeah, they don't celebrate the Fae holidays anymore.
They don't even call them that.
Yeah,
they've changed all the names.
So they don't celebrate them. They don't celebrate the gods. Anything that was Fae related, they don't.
Exactly.
They haven't done it in hundreds of years.
But they do know Fire Night. She has a term for it. Ignore the
yawns.
I don't even know what that was.
I think Hera's yawning.
I think so.
I'm ready to go home.
I know. We're almost there. But I think it was really interesting that she still has a name for it, although they don't celebrate it. They don't acknowledge it.
Well, I don't think
she called it Fire Night.
Did she call it Fire Night? Because I thought either it was Tamlin or
no, she calls it Fire Night because he calls it Callahan.
Callahan.
Calamine. Sorry.
Calamine. Not the lotion. Calamine.
Calamine. But there's an N.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah, Calamine. Yes, you're right. I thought you were putting the N in the wrong spot. I'm sorry.
I barely remember how I can't even spell it for you, to be completely honest with you. But
sound it out. Be like Feyre. Callan.
I don't even know how it's spelled.
Oh my goodness.
But I think it's interesting that they still know about it. Even though they don't celebrate it, they don't mention it. But she has a name for it. She's the one who mentions Fire Night because he doesn't say Fire Night because he corrects her immediately, calling it.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
But so I guess we shall move on to chapter 20, and I will go ahead and post on here now
which sections to skip past if you are sensitive to certain.
Yes, we'll go ahead and read this, and in post I'll do all my editing that I need to do. So here's chapter 20.
All right. The next day, Feyre paints a bat-like creature with fangs, and she can almost smell the distinguished foul smell from the image in her mind. It is now Fire Night, and Tamlin says he must partake in the Great Rite, and he tells her to go to her room, lock the door, set a snare, and do not come out until morning. But she gets curious, and she hears the drums, and they get louder and louder, and she's drawn to them. And so she heads out down to the bonfires. She starts exploring, and she isn't recognized for a while, but then suddenly she's grabbed by 3 fairies that say that they will have their fun with her. Someone grabs her before they could do anything, and saying that they'd been looking for her. The 3 fairies that had surrounded her are stunned and scared by who comes along, and they book it. The fae who pretends to know her is revealed once she turns around, and Feyre thinks that this is the most beautiful man I have ever seen.
So I've got to ask, what do you think the cord she was feeling that pull? What do you think that was?
Do that one more time.
So Feyre was, when she was in the house, she was feeling like a cord pulling at her. Like
oh
she
yes,
felt
yes,
like she was so pulled.
The drums and the
she was hearing a voice.
Come. Yeah, she felt the urgings of this magic.
Mm-hmm.
She has a feeling for magic. I know.
Do you think it's magic?
I think it's magic. I think it has to do with magic.
It absolutely has to do with magic, but it also has to do with something else.
And I already have an idea, but I don't have any proof, so I
can't tell you until book 2.
Exactly. So don't. Okay, we're ending this here because you're gonna drive me crazy.
Yes, I know, but I'm just like, I was just wanted to see what you thought, because like I know what it is, but
I think it definitely, because of this night of Callan Mine. There we go. I said it right once. Because of this night being a passionate night.
A very passionate
night.
Especially for Tamlin.
I want to know. Damn it. Okay, so.
Language.
Oh, that's right. I've lost it. Never mind. I don't know.
It was such a passionate night for Tamlin.
Oh, yes. So it's in general, this is a passionate night. Like, it's Fire Night is, I'm guessing, based off of fire, passion. They're synonymous with each other. She feels a pull by magic, this and that. Those two combined make me think soulmate, dude. Like,
or mating bond.
Mating, in my mind, that's what I'm like kind of attributing to, which is why I'm like, okay, most beautiful man I've ever seen. She already thinks Tamlin's hot, but like that was not what she thought when she saw him first. And you already called him Shadow Daddy, so like at this point, I already know that I'm probably gonna like him purely because he seems like the dark and broody type, and
You're not gonna like him in this book.
But is it the enemies to?
It is enemies to lover.
I'm okay with that. You know what? Because as long as there's character development, I'm
gonna tell you, and you're gonna celebrate. Just watch your language. You're correct.
So here's the thing, like
that's what I was trying to like hint at. Like, what do you think the poll was?
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I was like, I didn't want to say it because like I don't even know.
I know we're trying not to ruin it for the first time readers, but
I am a first time reader, okay?
But Sophie's getting it. It's not obvious, but like Sophie's a smart cookie, so I feel comfortable telling her like
the hints because honestly, yes. I'm really good at taking the hints and just kind of rolling with it. So
yeah, and so we're also going to go ahead and let you know that we're going to discuss a trigger that is
a triggering topic at this moment. So if you do not feel comfortable listening to this discussion, go ahead and skip to the noted time after this.
Yes, and specifically it's in regards to sexual assault and possible rape. So please feel free to skip to this time now, and we'll be back with you shortly.
Yeah,
and we're gonna pause and let people.
Yeah, so. In general.
Okay. Anyway, so the 3 fairies. How did you feel about the 3 fairies? because it being regarding the night of passion and fire. And
so with the night of passion and everything with the 3 guys,
they think it's okay to essentially
assault her and
rape a human woman because it's a human woman.
It's a human woman, but the way she describes them does not sound like the spring court.
Well, they're not wearing masks.
They're not wearing masks. They seem of a darker nature already.
They seem like dark high fae.
Yeah.
But we don't know what they're called.
We don't know what they're called. We don't know who they are. They definitely have a dark feel to them, and because she's human, that they definitely believe that she's lesser than, that they can just take what they want.
Take advantage of her.
And that makes me so scared, to be completely honest, because it seems like right now she's so drawn to the darker like courts at this point. Like there's so little hints of small little things that just kind of hint to the darker courts, and she's getting all this stuff that are terrible from this, and it does not bode well with me, unfortunately. And I don't like the fact that most beautiful man ever scares these guys that were going to hurt her and take advantage of her.
Yeah.
That makes me very uneasy on what he's done now.
Yeah. But now that we're done discussing that topic, but this is this dark shadow daddy that we keep mentioning.
Yes.
So he's going to be referred to Shark Daddy.
He's said that twice now.
He's been referred to as Shark. We're gonna call him Shark Daddy. That's
Shadow Daddy.
We're gonna call him Shark Daddy.
Shark Daddy.
Dark Shadow Daddy is now officially Shark Daddy. But we will learn who he is a little bit later in the book, because this is an enemies to lovers trope. If anybody hasn't figured that out yet, so he will be important. But for the chapter question is, should Feyre have avoided Calamai?
I don't think she could have.
You don't think so?
No. She relies so much on her instincts, and they were screaming at her. I don't think she could have ignored it, to be completely honest with you. She doesn't understand what's going on. She's having her instincts scream at her to go outside to investigate. Something's pulling her, and she doesn't have enough knowledge to not give into it.
Yeah, I think that that chord that she was talking about, I think that was the final straw. Like, yeah, she had the voice, like the inner voice going, go.
But then she felt
she
pull.
had that pull, like, I need to go so badly, I need to go. Should she have gone? No, but she is. It's important for
her character development,
book development.
Yeah,
that's how I think it was important for book development.
Okay, I think I feel like this is the turning point to where a lot of stuff is going. You're welcome. A lot of things are gonna get turned over by now. Yeah. We're halfway through the book now.
We're gonna start climaxing.
Yeah.
Sorry. Anyway.
Yeah.
So, alrighty.
ACOTAR.
Please like and subscribe here on YouTube. You can also find us over on Instagram and Fable at Valkyrie Reading Room.
Join us next week as we discuss chapters 21 through 30. This has been the House of Wind Book Club.
Thank you again for joining us in the Valkyrie Reading Room. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.